Alright, so I figured I would make a little video here, and back in the junkyard again. But I'm gonna make this video here for somebody out there that likes the Volkswagen Beetles here. This one's kind of rough, but I'm sure it could be saved. It is definitely kind of tweaked up a little bit, but it's actually decent fenders. Doors definitely full bond, eh? 77. That's what this is. I don't see these much anymore. So got the vent glass in it. Actually got one of them vent glasses. It's actually for a Volkswagen bus. I was thinking it was for a Beetle, but it's actually for the bus. But these are rough. 77. We're gonna make a video here. Let's see if we can get one in the front here. Like it's been sitting since July of 01. Nice chrome bumper on the front. I'll be darned. There it is. Alright folks, so I just happened to look. And this is a 67 Impala. A lot of people, I'm going to tell you the story on this car. I recognize this car now. This car was actually owned by a family member of mine. I actually had, this car's in the background of one of my YouTube videos. I'm glad I found it. I didn't know it existed anymore. I was wondering what happened to it. But they were saying it was a Biscayne, and of course it's not, because if we look at the back glass here, it's definitely not. This car has not changed one bit. I'm so glad to still see it. But the front floor pans are shot. I know that for a fact. But they were back in 2010, 09, 010. This car's actually in the background. I got a 58 Etzel in the background, and this car's in the background. This was actually owned by a family member of mine, and it came from a buddy. He had bought it off a buddy of mine first, and then a family member of mine had gotten the car, and then they made a deal, and then, you know, he never kept his word, and long story short, the car ended up going back to a good friend of mine, and then I guess after that somebody had bought it, so now it's ended up here. So that's crazy. Yeah, I recognize this car, and this is actually, as far as I know, they were trying to say it's a real Impala SS, and they were first trying to say it was a Biscayne. Well, it's definitely not no Biscayne, because if you look at a rear back glass, it's definitely not a Biscayne. And they were trying to say it was a factory super sport with a 427 and a 4-speed. It did have the console shifter in it. I know this was a console car, and it did have bucket seats. I know that for a fact. And it does have the tilt column. It's a 67 Impala, and I think it's a super sport. I don't know 100% sure, but this car actually was once owned by a good buddy of mine where I bought the Biscayne off of, so this car ain't changed one bit. I mean, it's got all good glass, and it's been sitting since 99, March of 99. I'm so glad I stumbled upon this thing. I just happened to see it. But it's one of them deals here that, you know, you find something like this, and unfortunately in today's times, people are wanting an arm and a leg for it, so. And that's just the way it is. It's unfortunate. It really is, but That'd be one of them things where they want like $4,000 or $5,000 for it when the car's only worth 500 to 1,000. I mean, that's all this car's worth. I mean, the quarter pounds are messed up. The front floor pans are shot. The quarter pounds are full of Bondo. I mean, they are full of it. Well, they got a riveted piece of steel holding part of the wheel housing. But I mean, this whole thing is full of Bondo, and I know that for a fact. But this is definitely on both sides, driver's side and passenger side. This is definitely a $500 to $1,000 car, and that is it at most. The trunk pan is completely shot, and I know that too because that was back in about, just say, 06 all the way up to about 010. But I miss this car. I'm glad I found it. I'm glad it still exists. I'd love to have it, but I'm not paying $4,000 for it. I'm not saying that's what they want, but I hope this car don't get crushed. It's kind of sad. But I figure I'll make that video there. But this video here is for somebody special, and I wanted to make this about the Volkswagen. That's what we got. Hope y'all enjoy.